What does it take to get a Democrat on a plane? Do you know that there's still American citizens being held hostage by Hamas? That's a lesser reported element, that there are American citizens that are still being held hostage by Hamas. It's a real thing, that American passport holders, American citizens. And I do think that is a lesser appreciated element of the entire Hamas situation, is that when Americans are held hostage, that certainly is noteworthy. So this is a Democrat senator from Maryland. Van Hollen is his name. What gets him worked up? Well, Van Hollen, because he's held captive by the lunatic wing of the Democrat Party, in order for him to get on a plane, he wants to make sure that an MS-13 member can come back to the interior of the United States. Van Hollen is boarding a plane to San Salvador. He's going to El Salvador to talk to the government of El Salvador, advocating, encouraging, and requesting the return of an MS-13 member back to the United States. He wants him back. This guy is willing to go fight so that the worst of the worst can actually come back to the United States. Kilmar Abrego Garcia. This is 213. This is your Democrat Party. They will fight. They will fly hours on a plane to a foreign nation, not to go try to get hostages returned from Hamas. No, instead, they will fight to try to return a non-American, an illegal. This is not a U.S. citizen. This is not a permanent green card holder. This is an illegal who in previous court filings has said that he's afraid to go back to El Salvador because another gang was going to kill him. That's something a gang member would say. But hey, Democrats are willing to get in the arena. They're willing to fight, not for you, but for foreign El Salvadorian MS-13 gang members. That's what gets them fired up. Play cut 213.
I'm here at the airport. I'm about to board my flight for San Salvador. The goal of this mission is to let the Trump administration, to let the government of El Salvador know that we are going to keep fighting to bring Abrego Garcia home until he returns to his family. I hope to meet with representatives of the government. I hope to have the chance to actually see Kilmar and see what his condition is. But we are going to keep fighting because this is a miscarriage of justice. The Supreme Court has ruled 9-0, that he was illegally taken out of the country and put in a prison in El Salvador. And this is about due process. This is about rule of law. What bullies do is they begin by picking on the most vulnerable. But if we get rid of the rule of law and due process in the United States, it's a short road from there to tyranny.
Okay, time out. Why is it that the Democrat Party seems to be filled with these like 65-year-old men that walk around in cargo shorts and New Balance sneakers and that are like slightly effeminate in their approach? Is that like that's like the new caricature? It's like the Tim Waltz, Van Hollen beta energy. No, let's just be clear. The illegal act was not by the U.S. government. The illegal act was when he came into our country. Van Hollen, this guy who thinks that jogging once a year is a fitness plan, that's the type of guy that he is. He never tweeted once about Rachel Morin. Not once. A Maryland mother and an actual constituent of Chris Van Hollen, who was killed by another violent illegal. Remember the first commandment of the left. We should do an entire show of the 10 commandments of the left. The first commandment is very important. Thou shalt have open borders. They would like this Maryland dad a lot less if he were a U.S. citizen, if he weren't a gang member, if he wasn't a person who obviously should be here. Did you know the wife of the deported MS-13 gangbanger dad, Kilmar Abrego Garcia, petitioned for a domestic violence protective order against him in 2021? Looks like the Maryland father also liked to beat up his Maryland wife. This is the person that Van Hollen is getting on a plane to go fight for. This is the type of individual that he feels is worthy of his advocacy, not American citizens, not U.S. passport holders, not members of our nation, but foreigners who broke in, committed crimes, part of MS-13, and he could not be even bothered to tweet or mention the name of Rachel Morin. That is the Democrat Party. Foreign gangbangers first and America's last.